All right, welcome back, OGN Legion. Game 1 was a little bit crazy, but still managed to end in 35.5 minutes, so not too bad of a series. But MVP very much in control for a while, kind of threw it all the way in a 50-50 Baron, and Afreeca ran away with the game, earning over 10,000 gold on a Baron power play, and just kind of slowly bleeding out MVP from there.
It was certainly a supremely MVP game where they were in a good spot in the mid game. And we're talking about MVP classically because, of course, this season they've largely struggled, but had a lot of control in a game against the rampaging Afreeca Freecs, but not able to end their previously 8-game, now 9-game win streak in a row. So doing their best to emulate what Kingzone Dragon X have certainly perfected when it comes to League of Legends play. This was messy. Afreeca has some things they want to adapt for game 2, maybe move away from the Galio bouncy castle. The MVP was not an easy one to award, so I'm interested to see what the consensus is, and it's actually going to be Spirit. It was kind of a bit all over the place for me, but nobody was really putting their hands up and saying, I deserve the MVP.
Yeah, it really was a bit of a toss-up, but this one still kind of strikes me as a bit odd.
That we get to replay.
That's
here.
true. His outplay in the top lane off of the
We're gonna want to watch. Let's watch some of the outplays because I feel like Spirit's Camille mechanics, despite some bad decision making, were on point. Let's watch this one here. Watch how this goes. So Max tries to interrupt. The power fist mid-air was actually channeled and interrupted. Insane crap going on there. That was really weird. End up getting the smite, so congratulations for him. That was the game-winning smite, you'd have to say. So another reason why we're seeing the MVP be passed over to Spirit. Watching the top side here, how he outplays here. That was some really interesting mechanics, but that's something that can happen apparently when it comes to the buffering of the hook shot at precise time. Spirit also doesn't die after getting a big assist from Kuro. Some sick damage on the hero's entrance. No one really jumping out, so Spirit, I should say, gets the MVP.
Yeah, definitely a difficult one there. My vote went to Keen because he was crushing the top lane matchup.
He didn't get the Flame Horizon though, so not worth.
That's true, actually.
One CS away.
No more MVP for
One
you.
CS away from the MVP. Spirit and Mowgli look so adorable on this Sejuani Poro, by the way.
It is pretty great. He and Mowgli just hanging out.
Kuro and Ruby. I didn't know there was room for 2 people on top of the Manatee, but there you go.
Apparently.
Oh, that's how the song goes, Kilios, of course. A Manatee built for 2. A bicycle built for 2. Don't
oh, yes. Okay. I was like, is there actually a song that says Manatee built for 2? It's like, what are you doing here?
Well, what are we doing here in this game? We're not giving away beyond the Cossacks. Look great invading on that against SKT's jungler blank in that series.
We're also not swapping Maha out for Pilot, so we'll be sticking through here for game number 2.
See the mid lane ban, which has kind of been the big story this week. It's been a lot of mid lane bans. We're seeing a bit of a change in focus here. Only 1 mid lane ban so far. The Galio left open and was on the winning side, if not the most convincing performance ever by Kuro. The Galio will be banned blue side. So we're going to be spared another another Galio game. Getting my letters all mixed up.
Hooray.
What about a Gangplank game? We're going to be spared that because we do see Gnar banned on blue side. I wonder what that means for the Pirate in top lane.
Well, Afreeca taking their time. The last 10 seconds here to figure out what the final ban is going to be. No support bans coming through quite yet. We saw a lot of those in the first series.
Really?
It's going to be the Skarner. Are you kidding me, Afreeca?
They just don't want to deal with it, apparently.
Okay.
Again, like
he impaled like 3 people.
It is MVP,
almost none of them
so
died.
You're kind of happy for MVP to pick up most champions. They haven't really got the sort of champion pool that demands a lot of respect, so they're happy to give up the Gangplank, and it's going to be a flex rise for Afreeca Freecs.
Just ban the...
Oh, no, it's not going to be a flex rise. It's going to be a top rise for the Afreeca Freecs.
Okay. So they're going to be going for it yet again as Kuro gets his Azir.
I think we're going to see Nunu this game, by the way.
Nunu with Azir is absolutely busted, so that would be cool.
This feels like Nunu time, guys, so I'll get in there early and say the moment I see Azir prized this early and not even bothering to flex the rise. Highly suspicious. But Azir a powerful champion in this meta. A lot of AP damage already locked in for Afreeca. Pick of 80 carries available for MVP. They could lock in a sick bot lane. Or they could try to take a jungler. The jungle pool in a weird spot.
No. Ian with the Zed.
He was the guy who loved the Zed.
He was the one who debuted it for us.
Are we going to have all physical versus all magical damage? Let's do it.
This would be great, actually. I fully support this. Go ahead, lock it in. No! How dare you? Resident Sleeper.
Got a farm lane,
a
losing farm lane also against Azir, who does outrange every pick. I'm wondering for C and Nunu, but it doesn't have to be a first round. They might last pick Nunu. I don't think MVP will ban it away, given that there's been multiple games where Azir has been locked in and Nunu has been left open. When it comes to lane priority, one of the big picks for Kramer has been the Ezreal and the Varus. The Varus undefeated, the Ezreal comfort, but it does settle on the Varus after all, so looking for some pushing options against the Kalista.
So still haven't locked in the Nunu if that's what they want to go for. Could see it maybe banned here in the second half by MVP. No, you don't think so?
No. We've seen multiple games where Azir and Nunu have been available and they have been targeted when one was locked in. MVP, though, have had to deal with a Skarner ban, so maybe they want to be fun police and ban away the Nunu. I don't think it'll happen, Kilios. Put it this way, if jungle is last picked by Afreeca, then it's probably going to be Nunu. Just like Riven and Nasus and all the other fun stuff we've had in recent weeks in the middle of the Resident Sleeper series.
Well, I fully support the Nunu to come out, so I hope that we see it.
So we're looking for bans towards MVP. They ban away Poppy, so I don't know what that means. Poppy support for Max, I guess. Yep. They've already got Gangplank.
It's clearly a quirky jungle with a GP mid.
Oh, yes. Enough points in Gatling Gun. You can probably clear the jungle fine. But the Nidalee ban away from Beyond. Another one is invading jungles. They want to give Spirit some space to breathe. Rengar banned away as well. What's happening here for the Afreeca Freecs? Looking for a support. You could look at something here at the top. Kench, Braum would actually be very powerful.
Run Nunu support. Screw it.
I think Braum here would be very good. So let's see if they consider the Braum. A lot of chat between Tucson and Spirit. These are the guys who are drafting. And the Nunu Dream may be dead, as the Jarvan would also be very reliable on this comp.
Yep, gotta lock it in. There goes my hopes and dreams. An outside chance, I suppose, that Tucson's gonna run J4 support, but more likely it's just gonna be going up into that jungle for Spirit. And back to Old Faithful, it would seem, for Beyond with the Rek'Sai hover.
Yeah, Beyond has looked a lot better when he plays the Ultra Comfort like the Rek'Sai. Very aggressive on this pick, and he had a lot of aggressive options denied away in the Nidalee and the other bans that have come through here over the course of the draft. So no surprise on the Rek'Sai. Just waiting for the support pick. So one Thresh already. Kalista Thresh is going to be run by the other side now. Stolen away by MVP.
So last pick, looking
Tucson has played Nunu's support
a
before.
support. You know, I'm just saying it's a possibility.
I don't think it's going to happen. We're being a bit too glass half full. Afreeca Freecs looking for reliable spot. Braum would make a lot of sense here. Every second that goes by, I wonder why not showing the Braum. They're going to go Alice. They're going to go for his MVP factory. He gets a lot of most valuable player awards with the Alistair. So while we're all disappointed about the no Nunu, Afreeca Freecs have a very strong comp here. They're seeming very confident to run Ryze into anything. The Ryze into Poppy, very understandable. The Ryze into Gangplank, gonna be interesting actually. This is an 8.2 special. There's no ability to stopwatch away from the ultimate on patch 8.3. But on patch 8.2, still have the reliable escape. Still happy to play the sidelines. Power draft from Afreeca. But MVP also has some great scaling once again. And we thought scaling would be punished by Afreeca in game 1. Even with a punishment comp, they didn't. Now they can punish, but their comp isn't as tiered towards punishment. Do MVP get to scale away at their heart's delight?
Well, they tried to punish, and Spirit usually just died at the start of the fight, and then it kind of all unraveled from there. But we'll see if they can turn things around. Keen going to be very confident here with the Ryze in the top lane. But ADD, despite getting pushed around in that first game, despite not having as strong of a season as we've seen from him in the past, is still not somebody that you should underestimate, and very well could deliver with this Gangplank.
He's got a winning ratio on Gangplank, and of course his team has not done a lot of winning, so that shows that his Gangplank is something that should be respected. Kuro's Azir, of course, ironic cheers in the past, but been a power pick for him in the 2018 season. A lot of comfort for Afreeca, but also a lot of potential for MVP. So I predict this could be a more competitive game again.
Yeah, very well could be a 3-game series. We'll see what's going to happen as we go ahead, get ready to load up onto the Rift for game number 2. MVP looking to tie the score up, make it a 1-1, force that game 3, and try to take away their second series win of the season. Let's see if they can do it here as we load into Summer's Rift.
생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
MVP fans
Can't ask for much
pushing
better.
their voices out there. I mean, yeah.
They are always there, rain or shine, losing streak, whatever happens. MVP fans, ultra reliable to come show up.
Yep.
So.
Our former translator back when Joel had first started, Steven. If you guys remember him. Shows up every
MVP
now and then.
fan, yeah.
Yep, very big MVP fan. Comes out when he can. He's in the military at the moment.
The Tucson fans have also come out and forced as he is still our MVP leader.
Hear that cowbell.
Not a bad chroma choice. Not my favorite. The primarily purple one is my favorite. But it's got some purple, so I still like it. Okay, Azir.
I agree.
Okay, Azir.
It's very good.
The gobble sounds hilarious in Korean. Great. Well, that's one way to assert your dominance.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
This is a dominant matchup for the Azir as well. We saw it as recently as yesterday, where Azir just has the ranges to harass Corki out. Corki often needs to teleport back just to get his health going, as you're still giggling about Azir. Is Korean Azir the new Korean Lissandra?
Some of the Korean voices, if you guys haven't heard them, you should just go Google them. Or you look them up on YouTube.
I love Tahm Kench. It's great.
Tahm Kench is great. I also love Corki's voice in Korean. It just sounds great.
They're actually trading emotes in the mid lane. Some good feelings between Kuro and Ian. The good feelings end at level 2 when you just poke the Corki forever. Like you say, Maha preferred in game 2. Pilot had a good run out. Was of course involved in the win over SKT, so thought he might be rotationed in. Will not happen. Going to be lane control here. MVP early. Level 1 Alistar not going to provide any threat, so happy lane there. I think Kuro is going to have a happy laning phase like I mentioned against Ian. Top lane's the one's a bit unexplored. Usually, you think of Gangplank as losing every lane, but it doesn't have to take too many trades here against the Rise, and if it's just a farm fest, both of them scale very, very well.
Oh, really early roam here from Max up to the mid side.
Got just Q and E, you would imagine, no W.
Yeah. And Kuro was cheating in behind the minions, so no opening, so the Thresh will just go straight back down to the bottom side of the map. It's almost exciting.
They're usually very aggressive with Beyond on the Rek'Sai. His pathing on Rek'Sai has always been very impressive as well, going for turret dives and kind of Shaco-esque routes behind the turret. So definitely keep your eyes peeled. Right now, no early information available for Afreeca on where Beyond is, and he's threatening one of those Shaco-esque ganks, but in a ward.
Yeah, we'll be sitting on that, but he's, just trying to keep track of Spirit.
He's gonna gank anyway.
He's got to tunnel in from behind, gets the pop up there on Tucson, flash in for the Flay, headbutt, does knock Beyond in underneath the turret, but Tucson's still going low. Hit comes through now, Beyond maybe getting traded up here, and he will be as Spirit arrives at the flag and drag, takes him out for the first blood, and Maha is way too far forward. 2 kills coming through here for Afreeca Freecs, just 3.5 minutes into the game, as Maha also goes down.
That was so aggressive. That was almost insanity when it comes to aggression. It seemed like a next level of, I know I'm revealed, but I'm going to gank anyway, hoping that Afreeca will be out of position. But Tucson was level 3 and played this really well. Watch the replay here. The first knockup comes up, and you notice he flashes for the headbutt, and that is what really allows him the space to turn this around. Tucson with a sick outplay on the Alistar. MVP thought it's going to be, at worst, a 1-for-1. It ends up being a 2-for-0.
We talked to Tucson in the makeup room. We asked him, is it going to be another 2 MVP wins for you here today? And he said he was going to try his best. Well, didn't get it in game number 1, but already is making a strong argument for him here in game 2 if they can close this out.
Again, Alistar just seems to be the MVP factory this season. Every single Alistar player is picking up MVPs. We have a lot of impressive ones in the league. Gorilla, of course, famously. Wolf, Inform, also a great Alistar, and everyone else has also had a go, and Ignar gets it banned on-site, first ban every game.
I mean, his Secret Agent Alistar plays are
legendary.
Just, absolutely wonderful to watch. But, I mean, Tucson really has climbed the charts as far as being considered for one of the best supports here in the region, I would say.
And regular season MVPs, if you guys aren't familiar with the LCK or if you're new viewers, the first 2 years we had only top laners. Duke, the first ever MVP we had, then Someday, then Smeb twice in a row in 2016. We finally had some mid laners. In 2017 it was Crown in spring season. Then in summer it was joint between BDD and Kuro, actually, from the Afreeca Freecs. We've never had top support or AD carry as a regular season MVP in the actual LCK days. A support MVP will be amazing, and maybe it'll be Tucson because he's already putting up his hand early in the season.
Well, great start here for Afreeca. 1,000 gold up just 5.5 minutes into this one. Ocean Drake, the thing here that we have to start us off. We haven't seen any focus on that yet, but I believe in last game it was around 7.5 minutes or so that we saw them take that, so could have it again, since they do have Keen up in that top lane, and having the sustain for the Rise would be quite nice.
The Unsealed Spellbook Tracker, not quite as all over the place as Game 1, only supports this game. So Maha has reinforced laning phase with Lethal Tempo, also good for the team fight phase, we should mention.
Cut the number in half, went from 4 to 2.
Means a bit more predictability, and look, even Kuro doesn't have a teleport in the mid lane, so you're going to have a bit more reliabilities on your TPs this time. The play-by-play's nightmare, the Unsealed Spellbooks.
It does lead for more exciting moments, so, you know.
It definitely does.
It's got its ups and downs.
But you kind of have to take your eyes on the action to reevaluate whether the teleport coming in is really important or just, say, a Soraka or something coming in. Like, it's very different depending on who's showing up and how much CC they bring, so I don't envy you in those scenarios. MVP, 1,000 gold surrendered by their botched attempt at a bot lane gank. The game not decided by any means. Scaling-wise, Afreeca have a lot going on, but so do MVP. There's a lot of firepower here. So you kind of think of front lines, and also pretty similar in those regards. So given there's a lot of engage on both sides, there's good scaling on both sides, it feels like it'll be a snowball game where if you're just an item ahead and everything else basically in parity, then you have a lot of options. Afreeca's big advantage, I would say, comes in both reliable wave clear and also the extra global in the Realm Warp, allowing for big playmaking. So Keen, after just farming out a massive gold lead in Game 1, let's see whether he can be on point with the playmaking in Game 2.
You say playmaking, but I'm expecting big escapes with the Realm Warp. That's probably going to be the primary use.
The glass can be half full once in a while, Achilles.
I know. I'm taking a sip from the glass. I'm emptying it.
I'd actually like to see the skill order when it gets a bit higher here. We've seen 4 points Q into Emax in previous metas, but that was mid lane Rise. Could just be full-on QE, or it could be a bit more of a balancing of points. Never really sure with Rise. People always disagree on how they want to skill. Spirit been largely a pass into this game, just kind of gleefully accepted the kills after Beyond had botched the turret dive earlier. Otherwise, ultra standard across the rift.
Looking for the evade here. Spirit walking in, does find this blue buff.
Corki's going to react first.
With the smite for smite, and it will be Spirit coming out on top yet again. So, no blue buff there for the Corki.
Should mean some pretty horrible things, at least for the turret HP. Kuro has a lot of options on how to play this lane. He outranges the Corki. He also has a blue buff advantage, so kind of everything stacking up. So a lot of lane control for Kuro. A lot of pain for Ian.
Quite a bit. He's keeping up nicely. Gonna be dead even here, 78 all. Kuro and Ian as he takes a little bit more damage.
It only means his health bar and he gets to teleport back in, and it's not the punishment on something like turret HP. Just fine from the side of Ian. The Corki for team comp, not for lane against the Azir. Have to be more respectful, so you'll notice there is no Cull in the build here. Not going for Hexdrinker though against double AP. That's pretty risky. Saw Hexdrinker rush in a similar scenario yesterday for the Corki against Azir.
Ian's trying to live on the edge.
It's the only way he feels anything.
You know.
I mean, MVP are definitely the thrill-seeking team.
Yeah. It's that or he's making a bit of a mistake. We'll find out later which it is.
Again, this is the team that loves 50-50 Barons, so they're thrill-seekers, Achilles. Living life on the edge. No QSS against Malzahar, whatever makes your pulse go, you know?
Yep.
Beyond here, outside of vision, a lot of engage on the bot side, so some of it committal, some of it non-committal.
His way forward. Flay comes in, looking for the hook here onto Tucson. We'll find it. Box comes down, and yeah, he's just going to pop the ultimate.
How was that supposed to go?
That's about it.
What was the ideal there, Achilles?
The idea was that they kill him.
What was the ideal, though, with Alistair having flash and ultimate up?
That
Like, what did it look like?
Kill him before he could use either. I don't know, man. It's MVP. Do they really look like a team with a plan?
I mean, no, but I wanted to give them benefit of the doubt, but I just did not see how that was going to work exactly.
To further quote The Dark Knight, they're a bit like a dog chasing a truck or something down the road. They just see it and they go.
Shiny objects, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that one was, let's say a low percentage chance is the nicest way to put it. However, the Drake a higher percentage chance.
Okay, this is actually a bit of a plan that they have here, and it's to use the Callista Ren to go ahead and secure the Dragon, even though it was still the Smite that comes away with the kill. So first Dragon of the game going over to MVP just shy of the 11-minute mark here.
They're just asking questions, man. MVP's asking all sorts of questions, not getting all the answers they want, but getting the Drakes. That's at least something to smile about if you're an MVP fan. Top lane CS about 20 up for the Rise, which in a scaling matchup, pretty reasonable.
No,
he doesn't have ult.
Does have the flash this time, but it's going to get a 3-man pulverize. Goes Golden with a stopwatch. Hear that Fate's Call coming through, looking to pop him right back up. And it seems like Tucson will go down this time as Maha finds the kill, but here comes Spirit around the back. Flag and drag through, pops him up, throws down the Cataclysm, only finds Maha as he goes Golden and Max low here. Also has the stopwatch, trying to stay alive, gets the hook in onto Keen, but will pay for that one with his life as Kuro walks away with the killing blow. The rest of MVP members so dangerously low, getting poked out, but no one else is going to die, just going to be the Thresh. But now Afreeca, 4 members primed in the bot lane, they're going to be looking for that first brick.
Yeah, the mini wave comes in, AD has to get very close in order to stop this turret going down. Teleport from Tucson on respawn. They want the turret.
Alive. Flag and drag comes through, they get the pop up onto Maha, they go forward. Shifting sands, helps get the kill as Tucson finds the hit. ADD yet again will get found, will go down, and Kuro walks away with a killing blow on that one. 5-1 now for Afreeca. First brick comes through, the gold surges forward, and MVP are starting to get just suffocated out of this game.
Yeah, just a bot lane party with all the teleports involved, and the re-teleport in by Tucson after his death. Going back onto Tucson made some sense, but it was a heavy commit. Once Rek'Sai goes in, this team only really goes one way. The teleports are in position from Afreeca. They're roamed down by Spirit and Kuro. Kuro now has the Nashor's Tooth and Sorcerer's Shoes at 12 minutes, so very accelerated in lane. Corky's still first to purchase now. But Afreeca Freecs, they're also unlocked. They're able to send their top lane, the AD carry top lane, and also roam with the Alistair, so a lot of advantages piled up. This is the back end of the fight. Tucson comes back in, they get 1 kill. ADD kind of baited himself for a barrel clear, trying to stop the turret going down, so he dies as well. Afreeca unlocked on the map, and Tucson the big person to profit, because a lot of flashes down. He's got his roaming shoes on. This Alistair wants to confirm another MVP for Tucson.
That's a supreme amount of self-control right there from Keen, handing over the blue buff to Kuro instead of taking it for himself on the Rise. So good guy Keen helping out his mid laner there, and yeah, MVP. They try to go for a play yet again. They think they have the plan, but it just gets turned on its head by Afreeca. Superior roam arriving faster and just having more damage overall.
A lot of stopwatches still available for Afreeca, which
they're trying this again, just on the other side of the map.
I mean, Tucson must die. It's clearly what's going on here. We saw this from Rox Tigers, wanting to kill Score Zac under any circumstances, so it seems like Tucson is getting the same level of respect from the side of MVP. Still stopwatches available on Jarvan, Rise, and Gangplank this game, so some playmaking still certainly possible. And Keen is free farming with the Rod of Ages stacking up. So in the stacking war, I'm definitely going to take Rod of Ages Rise over some stuff Gangplank. It's got a Jarm's Fist and a Sheen. It's not really got anything good going on.
My question is going to be if MVP can figure out a different attack strategy, or if we're just going to continually see this Rek'Sai rotate
that
out.
Hook went towards Kramer. That's different.
He was trying to defend the ward. That's all. It wasn't actually to get a kill. Speaking of kills, though, Yon going to find Spirit as he pushes in. They've shoved up, but Afreeca, they don't have the, see and must kill reaction. They spot him out, but they know it's a bit too risky, so they will peel back.
Keen pushing up bot side. No teleports in the bot lane, so ADD's ultimate will be relevant in the upcoming exchange. Very risky to turret dive fully against this team of MVP, but so far, they're going to at least posture.
Max maybe getting caught here, but now the flag and drag not going to come through. Afreeca happy to just shove them back and take the turret. You can see the restraint being shown.
I mean, they had a demolish proc coming. They zoned them away. Well played. Probably no actual instinct there for Afreeca to dive. Just happy to accept the free objective. They back away. Rise moving up, and a Rift Herald may also be on the menu.
Yeah, it seems like this will be a very easy take here for them. Use that to break down that final outer turret there in the mid lane.
Both ADD and Ian are very far behind in this game. You'll see that. We already mentioned that ADD has cobbled together I mean, we see 12-minute Trinity Force on the reg, so him having no completed item at 15 minutes is a pretty big problem.
We saw it there in the last game.
Yeah, he's really only an ultimate now this time for ADD. The no Trinity Force for the Corki either, whereas one item spikes and then some for every member of Afreeca. So MVP can't look for fights. That's why you start the Rift Herald now. That's why you visit the next Drake, even though it's an Ocean, why not accept it? Items delayed for MVP means that every fight should go the way of Afreeca Freecs.
Well, they made a silly little mistake down in the bottom lane. It's just kind of unraveling from there. Just committing too hard to kill Tucson when he had every escape plan possible. People make mistakes, Pop Smithy. It's all just about the poor timing here for MVP.
Definitely seen my share of them in the LCK season. Very few teams have been flawless. Even saw the man Khan yesterday screw up his hook shot, so anything's possible. Camille Mechanics still getting away from multiple people in multiple roles. Kuro going for a visit to top lane. Doesn't have teleport, but just to pile on some items. He's super powered with double magic pen. Go with his Nashor's core. If he shows up at a team fight, you run away from the Birdman, let me tell you.
Harvey Birdman?
Attorney at law. Fun show, that one. He's
Birdman was a great movie.
I would say he's more intimidating than Harvey Birdman, and kind of as intense as Birdman the movie, which was, like you say, a good movie. We'll just pretend that Kuro's Michael Keaton for a little bit here. So I see them pushing into mid. As I said, walk up to every objective, have Kuro kind of just strut his feathers, and you should be picking them up. Too risky for MVP to opt in if they don't have double Trinity Force, and only one completed onto Ian. Start up the Drake, there will not be a steal, they back away. And this can just be repeated ad nauseum. Roll up to an objective and then see if MVP will have a rush of blood to the head, try to engage when their items don't really suit them, and thus objectives pile up and maybe even kills in that scenario for Afreeca Freecs.
So matching Ocean, Drake's Afreeca truly now in control of the game. Or 1-for-1 in that regard as they just keep pushing down the waves. See what opening they find for the next engage, but might just have to happen around an objective on the map. Perhaps a Mountain Drake or Baron, which will be spawning in about 2 minutes' time.
So much of an item lead. You just look at the junglers. There's a whole Knight's Vow lead. The Spirit over Beyond. Probably has to go for a shopping trip, but is about 10 camps behind, and also the kill involvements that Spirit has picked up. He just actually leashed himself. Let's see who to. But yeah, he's in a great spot here. Wit's End being worked on by Kramer. Only one magic damage threat, but it means that Azir will do more damage with his flat pen. So he's doing true damage if Varus is stacking up those auto attacks with the Wit's End. That's scary.
That's going to hurt quite a bit. Absolutely terrifying.
Right now the vision control, advanced vision control, is for Afreeca on the bottom side. So that's why Kuro is being a bit more respectful than you'd imagine on the top side. Don't need to bring him in for action. They're happy to have Varus farm in mid lane. And now Tucson, will he get interrupted? Not quite.
Max misses. Rift Herald does arrive here in the mid lane, and it's already knocked down the turret here. But to below half HP, so one charge and a couple hits. We'll be burning that one down. Spirit and Kuro waiting around the back. Hook comes through, but Tucson going to cleanse that one off. The Corruption comes in, but won't be locking him up too much. And MVP will just be losing out on that tier 1 turret. Suffers a little bit of damage to the tier 2, but otherwise is quite healthy.
Yeah, we didn't see this Afreeca in game 1. They won as ordered in their decision-making, especially early game, and relied on a mistake from MVP to take the landing in game 1, whereas this is the Afreeca we've come to know in the previous 8 games. So they've been very ordered in their play and haven't made any mid-game shot-calling errors. A lot of people, if you're just joining us for the first time this year, remember Afreeca as kind of the Afreeca you alluded to pre-series. Achilles, the sort of Afreeca that would rob from the rich, you know, the Robin Hood of the league. Used to be Jin Air, then it became Afreeca, where they would beat SK Telecom, then lose to one of the bottom teams. But Marin gone, insert Spirit as main shot caller, and Keen, the very prodigiously talented top laner, very mechanical top laner. They've actually, with the new shot caller, been able to stick the landing and play very ordered League of Legends, explosive at times, but smart largely. Kind of a hybrid of KSV and Kingzone, if you ask me, where they're definitely on the more of the control side than the wanton aggression of Kingzone, but they have their moments where they're aggressive as well. The end result has been that, you know, they're very close to icing out this game and thus being consensus the second best team in Korea as we approach our Lunar New Year break.
Yeah. But very clean stuff here from Afreeca, and it's good to see this measured play style from them.
They have a lot of Baron damage, Gilios, so that is something that they're going to keep working on. That's why you see Spirit walking up.
They find the hook there onto him, but yeah, no real way to follow up. Nobody really in range. The Callista at this point is not going to be doing much damage to him.
They don't need Ryze there. Ryze is happy to flank because Varus Azir will delete this Baron.
He says thanks for the help, taking the Krugs. ADD misjudging his damage, hoping for a crit there off the parlay. Finally has the Triforce done.
He does. It slowed down his build because he didn't want to get dived aplenty, but you would have thought that the stopwatch would have been enough for that. I think Keen has to be in the argument for one of the most improved players. I think he was really promising last year, so I guess I'm not as surprised compared to the development of someone like Lava or Sungwon and Linderang. But he's still been very good as Kuro.
Getting spicy there. Kuro going in, look for the Emperor's Divide. Meanwhile, Max going to get jumped on at Tucson. Coming around the back. Fate's Call will get drawn out, gets the headbutt straight on the Maha, and he gets annihilated. Beautifully done by Tucson, isolating the Callista. And they just take down the bottom lane of MVP. Now Afreeca feeling perfectly safe to go ahead and start up this Baron.
Ignar-esque with his positioning, stopping the Fate's Call from being the freebie. You notice Kramer held onto his ultimate, knowing that at any moment the Fate's Call would have nullified the CC.
Oh, Keen's just going to go ahead and try to kill Beyond, goes into the mid lane, locks him down. Void Rush going to come out. See the Realm Warp there. Keen takes himself out to safety. The Baron goes over to Afreeca Freecs.
To respect Keen, by the way.
They're starting to push their way back over to the mid side. Seems like ADD, and Beyond will be allowed to exit with their lives. But for how much longer, we don't really know, because now Baron's over onto the Afreeca Freecs, just 20-something minutes into this game.
Now consider where Tucson is at the start of all this. Teleports into the brush. You do see Maha knowing this is happening, but the communication is great from Afreeca. Don't use Chain of Corruption. Max
Beautiful.
Eventually, and then the pole, and knowing the flash range as well, that wasn't even hugging the wall. He just took a leap of faith. The leap was successful. Great playmaking from Tucson. It gets the Baron as well. Kane playing with our hearts a little bit. Walking up and trying to do damage to 3, but they still escape with the Baron. Kane was able to tie up the members. Now they can split the map aplenty with their bounty of gold lead. It's almost 8,000.
Well, at the moment, seems like we might be hearing it from Tucson again at the end of this series. Unless
They already
Afreeca
said
throw something away crazily here.
They already said earlier this week they'd run out of questions at the Gangnam Stadium because he'd won so many MVPs. So we'll see if Dangood and Cloud Templar have rolled in some new ones.
At this point, just ask him random anecdotal questions about his life. You know, what were you like as a child? What was your favorite TV show?
Yeah, Tucson's a very interesting one. Had that year away from pro play, even longer than Frey took away in 2014. It was 2016 when Tucson was away from pro play, just playing solo queue, and still a lot of trust from Kramer and the team of Afreeca to recruit someone who had always been decent in pro play but wasn't a superstar. Came in known for his mechanics. Was up and down in 2017, but much more on point in 2018. Looks refreshed, looks ready to go, and deserves the MVPs he's been racking up.
Really has. Been great stuff from him, especially on the cow. As Afreeca go ahead and start pushing down the inner turrets here in the top and bottom side. We'll knock that one down. Keen still pressuring ADD in the bottom side, but going to be considerably slower to take the turret as a rise.
Good at interrupting the battles,
quite a bit of damage in. Just, a minor little chain spell coming through and chunks ADD down to about half HP.
I do wonder if we'll see something like top Rise in patch 8.3. I think 8.3 nerf basically trivializes Rise for solo queue. I think without having an escape on his ult, it's very hard to coordinate outside of very, very high elo. And for top lane, where it's such a long lane that Rise, not being turret dived, kind of relied on the stopwatch ult or just the stopwatch. So the risk involved in drafting top Rise gets higher. So it might just be an 8.2 thing. A couple of weeks of 8.2 projected for us here. Just change that patch this week. So for now, at least, why not just extend the lead? Looking very, very comfortable. Zone is completed for some more Realm War plays and kind of waiting for Afreeca Freecs to hand us an extended break before our second series.
Yeah, it's looking like we might have another one of those.
Well, it's 10,000 gold again, so...
Yeah. The way we're looking is, you know, around an hour, maybe more before our next series.
I actually really don't like the build. Ian's going this time around, going for the Infinity Edge. From behind, the Rapid Fire Cannon, I think, provides a bit more because you're much more likely to be able to either wave clear or get a single poke off before you have to disengage. 10,000 gold behind, going to such an expensive build means you're sitting on not much when the next fight might just end the game.
We saw him really sped up in game 1. It was a nice time to go for the Infinity Edge, but this time around it's just not really there, not really working for him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of players who can tailor their builds to the situation. You also understand that if he has just enough time, having an Infinity Edge now would be lovely, and maybe they could win a team fight from it, so it's not without merit, but just where the game stands now, with the game in the balance and seeing all the items stacking on the side of Afreeca, it looks too optimistic with how ahead Afreeca are.
Yeah, not only that, but we were talking about, you know, going for the Hex Drinker Rush as the first item. Thought maybe we would see that as the second, but nope, he just wanted to go straight in for the most expensive thing that he could find in the shop.
A lot of true damage potential for the Azir here is very frightening. The Void Staff is just rude. It's basically going to be true damage to everyone, even people with Merc Treads and QSS, because of the flat shred from the Wit's End and the Void Staff applying first. Have to start looking at numbers and doing a bit of math there, but a lot of flat shred here if Varus is free hitting. A lot of problems if Varus is free hitting anyway, but
yeah,
we're going to see some big Azir damage numbers in team fights. But no sign of a team fight just yet. Kane's going to push up top side. Baron is down, so the push is going to take a bit longer. So it is, for now, it's going to be pretty ordered stuff from Afreeca Freecs.
And there's not even a third Ocean Drake to fight over yet, so
No.
Tucson going on a vision mission here, but MVP have the numbers advantage, so Tucson has to back out for the moment.
Ryze eventually will draw a Gangplank, who's already scurrying his way to the top side. Teleports up on multiple members. Tucson has the Ghost Flash going on with Righteous Glory, so if he decides you're being engaged on, you're being engaged on.
He will pull the trigger. Doesn't have to think about it too hard.
No minion wave for a while, so probably going to be a standstill. That's a lot of damage.
Yes, it is. Keen missing that last little overload, though, so not going to be forcing ADD back yet.
They could try to threaten the dive on the next minion wave and guarantee the inner turret, but maybe Afreeca have grander plans. They could consider diving mid lane as well. But for now, 1-3-1 is going to be enacted. In fact, more of a 3-1-1.
Tucson.
He's just ghosting, trying to get the turret. It'll get the turret. Short cooldown. Demolish proc.
Pops them both. Righteous Glory and the Ghost going to be down now.
Easy peasy.
Finally knocking down that final one. They'll steal away the red buff and go get prepped for the Baron that's spawning in 50 seconds.
There's been no visit by MVP anywhere near that advanced on the map. Full recall comes in from Afreeca, some big item purchases. A cheeky, needlessly large rod on top of what he already had there means that Kuro is just the most teamfight god present in this next fight. 3 items onto Afreeca carries and 2 items onto the ones from MVP. Lets you know that very difficult to lose a fight here with how far ahead you are and very similar comps. Our assertion was similar scaling, similar identities, similar engage, so it's a snowball game. Well, the snowball went only one way, went to the Afreeca Freecs, so in every scenario they should be able to trump and triumph over MVP.
Yeah, finding their way back into this one. Afreeca would just have to mess up literally everything.
How about a Baron steal? It could happen.
Even then, I'm not sure if that would...
How about 2 Baron steals?
Well, now we're talking. You piqued my interest.
Stranger things have happened when MVP is in the game. But they're pushing up Vision, which, of course, is the cheat sheet that they want to start Baron very soon. They have insane Baron damage.
That's going to be the Pulverize there. Dark Passage does take him out to safety, so Beyond staying safe. Get himself nice and healthy, and Afreeca is going to go ahead and start up this Baron, which is
it's basically dead.
It's getting melted, and Tucson here, he's just gating everybody back, keeping Beyond out of the pit. Does a great job of it. Now they can go ahead and look for the engage. Chain of Corruption comes down, Beyond gets locked up, jumps to the side, keeps himself alive here for the moment. Look from Max going wide, and Keen now arriving on the other side. Pinching them in from the bottom. Realm Warp coming in straight into the thick of the fight. Should be able to find Beyond first and foremost, and he will go down as Keen finds the hit. That's going to be another one as ADD falls. Ian desperately trying to run away, but Kuro is on the chase, has the Sand Soldiers, will take him down. A double kill going over to the Azir, a double kill for the Ryze. And Spirit just hounding down Maha, the last remaining member of MVP. before they go in for the Nexus.
Yeah, when your team is this good, you make it look easy. They'll comically chase onto Maha. Goodbye. Dead during the knock-up duration of the Emperor's Divide. They'll end the game here. That time is too long for the side of MVP, and while Game 1 wasn't great from Afreeca, Game 2, this is the Afreeca that has led to everyone around the LCK realizing they're a true threat for LCK Spring 2018.
Yep. Maintaining that second place spot, Afreeca looking quite strong as they take down MVP. It was hard fought in game number 1, but game 2 was a bit of a walk in the park for these guys as they finish off the Nexus. 31 minutes just about on the clock, 35.5 in the first game, so very short series by the Afreeca Freecs as they take down 10th place MVP.
Very clean. Love to see Tucson on the Alistair make the plays. He interrupted the Baron so easily in that last fight as well, using everything to tie up Beyond, the only person they had to respect. And you're allowed to have a bit of a faux pas with Game 1 if you're going to be gifted the game, and then you can produce this in Game 2. This sort of a performance against Kingzone, will it beat them? Maybe not, but it would also run them close. And with Kingzone looking on the next level, on Cloud 9 if you will, compared to every other team here, there needs to be a challenger. We've been wondering who the challenger was. Was it Katie Rolster? We've wondered that for a few years now. The answer emphatically was proved to be no yesterday. They faced Afreeca much earlier in the season to Kingzone, and Afreeca still had kinks to work out. This Afreeca is looking much more like a team that could perhaps do something against Kingzone. Great interrupt on Beyond. Nothing he can do, and then, well, they had Baron and all the items, so goodbye MVP.
And this is what Tucson's been doing to, really help themselves those MVP awards. We've seen him gatekeeping around the Baron pit so very often. He just does it so well. So excellently done by him, and yeah, would fully expect for him to win that MVP. And Kuro didn't really get to show off the damage too much throughout the game. He was always, riding forward, but we didn't have the skirmishing to really show off how much damage he could do with the Varus free firing there, but gets his double kill at the end of the game, as does Keen.
And the best thing about it is we watched him in the booth. No one's smiling. No one's jumping up and down. Everything went as expected. Yep. They expected to beat MVP 2-0. The matter in Game 1, a bit of concern, but Game 2 was business as usual. And Afreeca's gaining that winning feeling, Achilles. They moved to 10 wins in a row. They also are in double digits. Now the hyped matchup moves to Kingzone Dragon X versus the Afreeca Freecs.
Go ahead, take a look at the post game. You can see Keen running away with the top lane. Most damage dealt in the game by far, with Kuro trailing in just a bit behind him. But yeah, very fast games, which is a nice change of pace for me, as I'm very much used to the longer series, but we get some really swift ones there. Below 40 minutes on each, and Afreeca walk away with the 2-0.
I didn't have any umbrage with MVP looking for scaling, because we just watched Afreeca do nothing with an early game comp in Game 1, so they thought, okay, let's roll it back. Yeah. We got good scaling. The scaling didn't matter because the game ended very early by our standards here in the LCK at 31 minutes. The MVP, will it be Tucson? It will be.
All right.
But we'll talk to him again. 1-1, 1-1. He's got some binary going on there with his kills, his deaths, and his assists. Clean stuff. Some good runes to copy there. Celestial Body for a bit more health to maybe partake in an attempted botched dive by MVP. That extra 100 health was probably pretty useful there, and 200 ahead of his teammate, Tucson and Kuro. They're not sharing, they're greedy.
200 ahead of anybody else on the list. And this was where it all just went wrong, Beyond going way too aggressive.
It was a sick outplay by Tucson as well.
Turns it around right on his head.
How many Alistairs flash aggressively there and don't flash defensively? That was sick. And from there, 2 kills. And yeah, the sinking feeling definitely would have hit MVP from there. This is where they overstayed and ADD thought, I'll clear, and then died. And from there, the game was basically over. We can't really hype this one up, guys. They were too far behind. The comps meant they were so similar. There was no way for them to answer. This is another sick outplay for Tucson, who really had a great game. Consider, they hold onto the chain of corruption. What's his job? Well, why not headbutt back in? The Callista, there was nowhere for the Thresh to go. They died. Afreeca Freecs, clean as you like. I'm getting hyped. I'm getting excited about the Afreeca Freecs. They are definitely a good team. Now, this regular season, in the postseason, they've never had any success. So the postseason is definitely going to be a different thing, but all they can do is rack up the wins and do it as cleanly as they're doing it. And then their fans will have a lot of expectation Because it's not a joke team. This is a true contender.
Yeah, and that's where the hype comes in, is thinking of Afreeca Freecs moving forward, facing other opponents that aren't MVP, because you can't really get that excited when they just go ahead and smack the 10th place team in the league. It's a bit like getting your oil changed professionally. You pay somebody to do it. You don't get really excited when they pull it off. Oh my God, you did it. Game 1, it was a little bit like getting a free filter, but the rest of it was just service as usual.
Man, it's harsh to call. Beating MVP, getting your oil changed, but I see what you're saying there, Gilios.
All right, well, we have our MVP interview ready to go, so we'll go ahead and toss it over to Joel for the translation as we hear from Tucson and Spirit.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your interview translations. Feeling unfortunate for my former translator buddy, Steven, who his team, MVP, loses out once again, and it's going to be Afreeca Freecs winning out 2-0. And he'll be from the MVPs, Tucson and Spirit for an interview. Spirit, 5 consecutive win streak for Afreeca, and the kind of level of game that you guys have been showing is on another level. How do you feel? I think our preparations do pay off. That, you know, we play until 5 a.m. in the morning, and I think that hard work really does pay off when we get results like this. Now we get to rest a little bit. Tucson, I heard that you had a pretty rigorous training coming into this, and how do you feel about it? I guess the consecutive win streaks kind of prove that, you know, we're definitely on a higher level than a lot of the other teams at the moment, so that makes us feel good. Even the fans and also the experts do say that Afreeca's biggest strength is that it's very robotic in the fact that very little mistakes are made. But I think, you know, that robotic phase is a little bit overstated for us. I think we still make a lot of mistakes that we want to fix for ourselves, but I think definitely a goal that we want to head towards on the right path. The first game, Camille Jungle was your pick. And it was a very unpredictable ban pick phase throughout, especially for the opponents there. I knew that this was going to be very, very scary. It was the first thing I thought of as soon as I saw the opposition pick jungler. But, you know, he was very good. He played very well, and the composition played very well. So it was a lot of a struggle for us to get over that and try to pick out a win from that one. Now let's talk about the flow of the game in Game 1. We thought that it might have been against you guys for a bit. Yeah, I mean, we did spill over a few cups of coffees that we didn't want to throughout the game, and that kind of wanted to get us back on the right track, and we needed to kind of change up some mindset and try to get back on a new pace, and that's what we focused on, and we were able to get the win on that one. Let's look at the highlights here. And we thought that it was a difference between Camille and Poppy here in terms of trading the skills. And Poppy is one of those champions that can counter Camille with a variety of skills that it has. But, you know, it was getting ready to use the ultimate there, and I had my ultimate ready as well. So we knew, we were just kind of looking at each other to see when the right timing for those skills were going to be. Thought you were going to be flying up in the air on that one. Yeah, I was ready to do that too as well. I mean, not just talking about Game 1 and Game 2. Even that Afreeca is kind of on a different level of expertise that we haven't seen you guys be on in past seasons. And getting those kind of ratings and getting those kind of praises feels great. We thank you for allowing us to be that way, and we're going to just work harder to get better and to raise our levels even further. But I think it's a little bit disappointing that we can't get any further than what we are right now. We'd like to get a little bit better. Let's talk about Game 2 now, since we have moved on. We thought that the entire Afreeca Freecs organization was very much in the presence of a winning path, and Alistar was definitely one of them, and Skarner was one of the first bans to come through. It was kind of outside our expectations of facing a Skarner, so having been less prepared for and knowing that this team was very fond of using that champion, we had to ban it out pretty early.
변수가 될 수 있다 이런 말씀을 해주셨고 그래서 2세트 초반에 대박 장면이 있었습니다.
In game 2, kind of the biggest play came from the early game. And we can look at the highlight here. I knew that Spirit was telling me that the jungler was coming, so we were prepared for it. But it's just I don't know how to explain this other than the fact that I just use the skills that are appropriate for that situation. Yeah, I know that I know that Beyond likes to make those plays, and I knew that he was trying to do that before, so hopefully that was the one that I wanted to counter with my teammates' help with that. Of course, having that in scrims and having that prior experience does help, and Tucson right now, it seems like you're at the peak of your career in terms of performance. I think it's still on the path of trying to get to my peak right now. And we do say it's still right now the tank meta down in the support lane, and I think as long as the meta supports me, I think I'm gonna be a fine supporter down in bot lane. Of course, when Afreeca won last time around, Kuro picked up the MVP most of the time, and we see Spirit and Tucson showing their own light as well. Was there any share of how you want to share the MVP points? Right now, we have 3 cakes left over, and it can be just one person taking each cake, but right now, I mean, we're just having internal arguments within the Afreeca Freecs organization about who should get the MVP. So sometimes people say to give one over, and even Kramer kind of mentions back and forth about him wanting some MVPs. But and we can't forget about Keen on the top rise, which we felt like was fabulous as well. Keen's a great player in competitive, and kind of disappoints us during practice even, is the fact that I think he really does want the MVP, which is why he practices and performs much better during competitive play. And I think it's really just a fabulous thing that a new player like him can play so competitively in the top level. I mean, you're talking about Kramer. I mean, obviously, I don't want to forget about him, and he's definitely can get an MVP if he wants. Just looking at him as a player, he's very flawless in the fact that he makes very little mistakes. But he's just you're talking about KDA's. He's first place at KDA, but what else does he have? Maybe he needs a little bit more than that just to win an MVP. And a great win for Afreeca once again. You do have one more game left over in round 1. Would you like to say anything right now? We do have a break for the Korean Lunar New Year holidays, and we will be back with the Junior game, and we're going to try hard to get that win off of that and try to continue on win streak. Yeah, hope you guys have a great New Year. Got a 2-0 win once again. We're gonna work hard to get another win. I hope you guys have a great holidays. So with the dawning of the Lunar New Year holidays on path, it's gonna be Afreeca Freecs feeling good about another 2-0 victory. And that was their MVP interview with Tucson and Spirit, and we're gonna head it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. So here you go, Tucson extending that lead at the top of the MVP charts. Might have our first support win, perhaps, but yeah, Afreeca Freecs walk away with some pretty clean victories. Game 1, a little bit iffy. MVP looking very well improved, but still suffering the same fate from their decisions, going for the 50-50.
And that's what you kind of understand, is that MVP might get better, but you don't just magically beat Afreeca Freecs because you got better. Afreeca are one of our best teams. They look way better than KSV, who in recent form have been struggling. KSV play SKT at the end of this week, and that's not a free win either with how SKT have improved, the wild card and Blossom likely to play again. So Afreeca Freecs, congratulations, enjoy being top 2. You deserve it for your first 8 series, and guess what? You get the longest of holidays because they're the first team done with their matches before Lunar New Year.
So very nice long break for those guys, so probably get the chance to go out, see their families and whatnot. But coming up next, guys, it's going to be Generic Green Wings versus Rocks Tigers, and we have quite the long break ahead of us. 1 hour on the clock until we will return for that series, so you guys have some time to grab some snacks and use the bathroom.
Yeah, no LPL to send you to. Some great LPL content if you go on LPL English on Twitter. Check out some of the cool stuff they've been making.
Producing a lot of great videos.
But do come back in an hour because Jin Air versus Rox. Rox, once again, trending upwards. They're looking good. Jin Air a contender. These are 2 potential top 5 teams.
Yeah, pretty even playing field between those guys, so no clue who's going to come out on top. And it could be a very long night for me and Papa Smithy, so we'll see you guys back here in an hour because we might need your energy.
Coming up next, Jin Air Green Wings, Rox Tigers, beginning of the end. 2018 League of Legends Champions Korea Spring Split.